Hey friends, Lucian here with the Bullish Bears team, and I wanted to make this video on time value with options. If you missed our previous video on intrinsic value, make sure you head over to bullishbears.com and take our free options trading course, and you'll learn about intrinsic value within options. Again, there's a lot of different moving parts and terminologies within options, so I like to use a helpful resource like investopedia.com. So if you ever have questions on definitions and on what something means within options, head over to investopedia.com and you can get a whole bunch of information on it. I try to keep things simple, so I like to read a definition and then I show it to you, or show when I teach on an options chain, so you can kind of get a visual. So you'll get the definition, but more importantly is understanding the concept and the visual of it. If you bog yourself down with too much with the terminology, it can get very confusing. Sometimes I'll look at terminologies within options and I'll be like, what does that mean exactly? And I don't even realize that I actually understand the concept because I'm doing it on a daily basis. But when I have to stop and think about it and explain it, it can really stump you. So I just encourage you to not bog yourself down with terminology. Just learn the concept, understand how options work, and then over time it comes together and slowly starts to make sense for you. So again, investopedia.com is a great resource to help you. And if you want to know more about intrinsic value, watch our intrinsic value video within our options course. But when you come down here, I'll lightly touch on it again. The intrinsic value of a call equals the underlying price minus the strike price. So that's the price of the stock minus the strike price of what you're looking to purchase at. So whatever your strike price is on a call, let me show you over here. Actually, I'll show you this and then I'll go over to Options Express and show you a call chain. But the intrinsic value of a put is the strike price minus the underlying price, which is the price of the stock. So it just works opposite of the call. So on the put side, it's just opposite of the call. If you look at the Options Express over here and you look at strike prices, you'll see to the left is the intrinsic value on the call side. And then on the right over here on the put side, you'll see the intrinsic value on the put side. So it just works opposite. So it's really, on the call side, the intrinsic value is the last price of the stock minus the strike price. And on the put side, it's the strike price minus the last price of the stock. So that's how intrinsic value works. Let me go back over to our definition here. So again, you can watch our intrinsic value video to learn more about that. But just as far as time value goes, I want to make this concept very simple. So I'll read you the definition. I'll show it to you in the options chain. But I want to just try to simplify the concept to you, because when you put everything together, it can be very confusing with options. When you try to put together intrinsic and extrinsic value with time value and all these terminologies, it can just make your head spin. But the concept is very simple. So let me read you the definition and I'll explain it to you what it means with time value. So in general, the more time to expiration, the greater time value of the option. It represents the amount of time that the option position has to become more profitable due to a favorable move in the underlying price. In general, investors are willing to pay a higher premium for more time, since time increases the likelihood that the position can become more profitable. Time value decreases over time and decays to zero at expiration. This phenomenon is known as time decay. An option premium, therefore, is equal to its intrinsic value plus its time value. So an option premium equals the intrinsic value plus the time value. So what the heck does that all mean? Well, if you go back up above, you'll see the intrinsic value again of a call and of a put. So that's, of a call, it's the price of the stock minus the strike price. Of a put, it's the strike price minus the underlying price of the stock. And if you come down here, then there's the time value. So there is that portion of the option, which is time value. And very simply put, the more an option goes in your favor, so the more you predicted that it goes in your favor, the more time is on your side. The more that you predicted the wrong way, so let's say you bet the wrong way on your option, Again, you never want to bet on options. You always want to do your proper technical and fundamental analysis. But the more the option does not go your way, then time is not on your side, hence the phenomenon known as time decay. So that's when people say options are risky, they go against you. And that is true. If you don't do your proper fundamental and technical analysis, time value will not be on your side, and you can lose a lot of money in options. So very simply put, always number one, chart your stock and get the best idea that you can possible on what direction that the stock is heading in. But there's a portion of your options contract that is time value, and time decay is not, is something that works against you the longer you hold that option. So ideally, you want to chart your stock, find your entry and exit points, basically looking at your support and resistance levels. And you also, it's options, you don't really necessarily want to hold them for a long period of time unless the stock continuously goes in your favor. But the moment it goes against you, and let's say you're buying a call and you believe the stock is going up, and then the moment that the stock turns the other way and starts going down, and now you start losing time because you're holding longer, that's time decay, and it can go against you. So I just want to make that concept very simplified for you. If you think about all the different terminologies like intrinsic, extrinsic, and time decay, just very simply, that could really bog you down. Keep the simple concept. The more option works in your favor, the more time is on your side. The more it goes against you, the more time, the more that the option or the price goes the other way of what you're looking for it to do, then time works against you, and hence time decay, and that hurts, and that's why people say options are risky. So options are only risky if you're not properly charting your stock and getting your proper entry and exit strategies by doing support and resistance. If you hold too long, time decay will go against you and it'll hurt. And that's what makes options risky. But very simply, looking on a options chain, you can just hover over the strike price and you'll see time. So right to the left on the call side, you'll see the intrinsic value and the time. And just the more I change my strike prices, you'll see the dollar, the amounts change. If I go down here to the right on the put side, you'll see the intrinsic value and the time value. And that's how it works. Again, when you're looking at the overall picture within options, there's a lot of moving parts, but just understand you want to chart your stock properly. Always give yourself enough time to expiration. You will pay more the longer that you go out with expiration, but that's because it's giving you more time to work on your side. And we always like to tell people, always buy enough time to expiration. If you can't afford it, then make sure that you're charting your stock properly and you're as confident as can be when you're buying your options. So don't just buy options because it's cheap, because time will go against you and it'll burn you. So you want to make sure you're about as confident as you can be when entering that stock. I can't stress it enough. I'm trying to simplify it, but time will work against you if you do not do things properly. And the more you hold on to your options, the longer you hold, time will eventually work against you. And that's why you have to have proper exit strategies. Don't get too greedy on making money with your options. You want to get in, you get out, and then you can always buy another option and get back in and extend your time out. And you can see up here, here's time to expiration. You can change all your expiration dates, and the further that you go out, the higher that the price of the premium will be. So, the option price will be more expensive the more time you get, because time is then more on your side. But again, always chart your stock and do your proper technical and fundamental analysis. So hopefully you enjoyed this video on time decay or time value. There's so many different ways you can say it. Again, there's so many terminologies within options.